Hello everyone, welcome to Creating Power. I wish you all a pleasant listening experience. The book I'm going to decipher for you today is Dare to be Different and Grow Rich: Secrets of Self-Made People. The book contains approximately 150,000 words, and I will spend about 21 minutes summarizing the essence of this book for you. The reason wealthy individuals possess significant wealth is due to their unconventional cognitive logic. When we talk about making money through investments, many people first think of the stock market. However, in 2012, German scholar Schmalenbroker conducted a survey, visiting 472 wealthy individuals with an average net worth exceeding €2 million. He found that less than 2.4% of them identified the stock market as their primary source of wealth. Through this investigation, we can uncover numerous cognitive differences between ordinary people and the wealthy in the pursuit of wealth creation. In Dare to be Different and Grow Rich: Secrets of Self-Made People, the book elaborates on these differences. For instance, ordinary individuals tend to seek opportunities for wealth in the stock market, prefer diversifying their investments, and often believe that entrepreneurs are the risk takers. However, the logic of the wealthy often contradicts these notions. It is precisely because of their extraordinary cognitive logic that they ultimately achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom entails relying on income from investments rather than passive employment to lead the desired lifestyle. The author of this book, Rainer Zitelmann, is a senior editor at the renowned German newspaper, Die Welt. With a sharp mind, he leveraged the platform of the newspaper to establish numerous connections in the real estate industry and acquired significant business acumen. Subsequently, Rainer founded a communication consulting company specializing in the real estate sector. This company is now well known within Germany's industry. Rainer Zitelmann has authored a total of 17 books, with his most influential work being Dare to be Different: Success Strategies of the Successful and How You Can Become One. This book has been translated into 6 languages for publication. Now that we have introduced the book's basic information and the author's profile, let's delve into the content of the book. The book primarily focuses on 3 key points. The first key point emphasizes that equating wealth solely with a substantial income will never lead to financial freedom. The second key point underscores that to become truly wealthy, one must learn to continuously increase their wealth. However, there are 5 cognitive biases that can hinder us, which we must overcome. The third key point highlights 5 traits one should possess to attain wealth. Let's start by examining the first key point. Why does having a large sum of money not necessarily mean being wealthy? The author argues that the rate at which money is lost far exceeds our imagination. Lack of financial literacy leads to squandering even substantial wealth, ultimately leaving one with nothing. Consider a real-life story. In 2001, an unemployed American named David Lee Edwards won a lottery jackpot of $27 million. After experiencing overnight wealth, he began purchasing mansions, cars, collectibles, private jets, and even turned to drugs. Within just 1 year of winning, David had spent $12 million. Before long, he had depleted all his money, lost his properties, and ended up living in a warehouse. In the end, he passed away in isolation. Examples of individuals who went from rags to riches and then back to rags are abundant, not limited to ordinary people like David Lee Edwards. Even celebrities are not exempt. For instance, when American songstress Whitney Houston passed away in 2012, she still owed $4 million in debt. Research indicates that most lottery winners experience worse circumstances during the years following their jackpot win compared to before. This is because they make a cognitive error, believing that having so much money ensures a worry-free life. The author, Rainer Zitelmann, provides a calculation in the book. He calculates that for a German to achieve the 2014 per capita net income of €24,000 through interest from savings alone, they would need to deposit how much money? The answer is €800,000, assuming high interest rates and no inflation. This illustrates that possessing a substantial sum of money does not equate to wealth. In fact, preserving wealth is often more challenging than acquiring it. Regardless of whether one has 1 million, 10 million, or even €100 million, mismanagement can result in squandering it all at a faster rate than anticipated. When ordinary individuals come into some money, they tend to indulge in luxury consumption, neglect investment, or engage in blind investments. In 2001, an Austrian warehouse keeper named Gunther Scheltermann won a prize of over €700,000. At that time, a prestigious domestic insurance company's financial advisor approached him, promising risk-free investments that would at least double his assets. As a result, he handed over more than €500,000 to the financial advisor. Unfortunately, this advisor lacked substantial expertise and invested Scheltermann's money in stocks and currency speculation. Not only did he deplete Scheltermann's funds over a decade, but he also left him with debts totaling €100,000. Many individuals, like Scheltermann, place trust in financial advisors from banks or insurance companies. However, Rainer Zitelmann believes that most of these advisors are primarily salespeople. Their objective is to generate revenue for the bank or insurance company by selling financial products, rather than genuinely providing investment advice from the customer's perspective. Therefore, entrusting them with one's finances may seem convenient, but it also relinquishes responsibility for one's investments, reducing the chance of successful investments. Unlike ordinary people, the wealthy typically do not indulge in luxury consumption once they have money, nor do they delegate their investments to others. They prioritize wealth appreciation through personal investment choices, maintaining the lifestyle they desire. One thing the wealthy understand well is that what they do with their money is far more important than the amount they possess. This marks the significant difference between the wealthy and ordinary individuals. Thus, the first key point we've discussed today is, having a substantial sum of money does not equate to wealth. True wealth entails continuous appreciation of money, enabling a life of freedom and ease. Moving on, let's delve into the second key point. To achieve significant wealth appreciation, one must overcome 5 cognitive biases. The first bias, which we often hear, is the phrase, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." This phrase suggests diversifying funds as much as possible, such as investing in various stocks or different real estate properties. This involves the concept of portfolio theory introduced by economist Harry Markowitz in the 1950s. According to this theory, carefully selecting the allocation ratio of various investments can minimize investment risk and yield certain returns. The less correlation there is between these investments, the lower the risk of the portfolio. While this advice holds merit, it may not apply as well to the pursuit of becoming wealthy. Zitelmann argues that diversification actually hinders wealth appreciation. While diversification may indeed prevent poor investment choices, it merely minimizes mistakes and does not significantly increase wealth. Zitelmann himself decided to invest in Berlin's real estate market 15 years ago, and he now enjoys double-digit investment returns. Had he diversified his investments by only purchasing a single real estate fund, the eventual return rate would have remained only a few percentage points. So, How can we achieve precise investments like the author suggests if we do not diversify? Zitelman believes that the most crucial aspect of investing is having sufficient knowledge about the market in which one intends to invest. Information obtained from the market generally carries uncertainty, and we cannot predict the ultimate outcomes of this information. For instance, when the government announces an increase in unemployment rates, some may perceive this as bad news due to the implication of a challenging economic situation, potentially affecting the stock market. However, others might view it as good news, expecting the central bank to lower interest rates and stimulate a stock market rally. In the investment market, numerous transactions occur due to opposing opinions. Some individuals are buying, while others are selling. Regardless, only one party will ultimately predict correctly and benefit. Therefore, having an in-depth understanding of the market increases the likelihood of being on the correct side of predictions. The second cognitive bias is the belief that market volatility implies low risk. Market volatility simply refers to changes in return rates. This aligns with the theory mentioned earlier by economist Markowitz, who asserts that lower volatility corresponds to lower risk. However, this theory has its shortcomings. Economist Michael Kapler provided an example to illustrate this issue. Consider two stocks, one rises by 10% in the first month, 5% in the second month, and 15% in the third month. In contrast, the other stock decreases by 15% every month. According to volatility theory, the first stock has higher volatility, while the second stock consistently fluctuates by 15%. Therefore, the risk of the first stock is perceived as greater than that of the second. In reality, despite the significant fluctuations of the first stock, its price consistently increases, resulting in a 32.8% return over 3 months. On the other hand, the second stock, despite its stable volatility, continuously decreases and incurs a loss of 38.6% over 3 months. This example demonstrates that lower volatility does not necessarily equate to lower risk. The third cognitive fallacy: many people believe that they should invest locally as much as possible. When investing, we generally think that the risks of overseas investments are greater than those of local investments. Rainer Zitelman refers to this as a local preference. A study in 2014 showed that more than 60% of properties held by German institutional investors were located within Germany, with only 1.4% in the Asia-Pacific region. Although the economic growth prospects in the Asia-Pacific region were better than in Germany at that time, and the investment process was also straightforward, it still couldn't change the majority of German investors' mindset. This situation is not unique to Germans. Many surveys show that investors in countries like the UK, Japan, and the US generally believe that their domestic stock markets will outperform foreign ones. Zitelman argues that this local preference overlooks profitable overseas markets, causing investors to miss out on potential returns.